isn't it? Who's not on the current committee or who's standing. I'm pleased to see. Hello, I should introduce myself first, shouldn't I, before muttering away? I'm Kate Super, and I'm the ERO, the election returning officer for this election. Um, Unfortunately, both myself and the deputy ERO have got meetings starting at 7:30 that are unexpected. So we will pass over chairing this and timing and everything to the outgoing chair and Liz Mansfield. Thank you very much, Liz, and
A
apologies for
pleasure.
this.
A pleasure.
So I think nearly all of the candidates that we know are coming are in the room, but we'll keep an eye on that. But just to let you know that we've got two candidates who aren't going to be coming tonight. So that's Jessica Goldfinch, who's a candidate for co-chair, and also Claire Long Shepherd, who's applied for a non-portfolio position. Um, Neither of them are unfortunately able to make it this evening, but I will read out their candidate statements. Um, so we've asked the candidates to prepare a 1.5 minute, just a little speech to say who they are, why they've applied, maybe things they are considering doing, just so we get a bit of a flavour of who they are. So I'm going to go through for this bit, go through the positions in order of the posts as they are in the election. So, and Sarah, my deputy, is going to time and give people 15-second warnings that their time is about to run out. So I'm going to start
I'll
with
do
June.
that orally. I'll do the one orally, but I won't turn my camera on because of bandwidth.
Oh, that's fine. That would be perfect. Lovely. So I'm going to ask Jude English um, to start. She's applied to be co-chair one. Are you ready, Joe? Jude? Joe? Why am I calling you Joe?
I don't know, Kate. I don't know why you're doing that, but it's fine. I'm just trying to get my timer to go properly, but
Oh, okay.
that's fine. I'm ready to go whenever you are.
Fabulous. You can kick us off. Tell us why you want to be co-chair.
Okay, well, I want to be co-chair of Green Party Women because I'd like to have another go, really. Some of you may remember that in 2024, I became the co-chair of Green Party Women with the very intention of doing some good work, and sadly was suspended for my views and my actions by the party in March 2024. And I've been out of the party for a while. I've been allowed back in, and I really want to have another go. One of the things I was suspended for was criticising the party for its attitude to the Equality Act, for its attitude towards free speech for women, and its attitude generally to the disciplinary system and allowing women to have voice inside the party. So now I'm back, I'm going to continue that work. I really also want the Green Party women to continue with the kind of the bread and butter stuff that they've been doing so well. The Twitchers Club, the book club. It'd be really nice if there were other sorts of club. We've got a really growing membership. There are lots of women inside the party who I'm sure would like to connect inside Green Party Women and do interesting things. I was a councillor for 8 years, so I've got experience of standing for office. I'd be really happy to help people think about standing for office, mentor younger members of the team and younger members of Green Party Women. Well, any age, actually. But if you want to become politically active, I'd like to help you.
15 seconds.
It's a really interesting time to be a member of Green Party Women, and I want to help lead a new dawn. That's a bit something, but I think it's time we got ourselves a bit more political.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Right, I am now going to read out Jessica Goldfinch's application, which hopefully shouldn't take me too long, but I haven't timed it. So, as a biography, I've been a member for 24 years, a former city councillor and licensing chair, a PPC, which is a parliamentary candidate, on the first House of Lords shortlist and been on disability and disciplinary committees. She's the mental health campaign treasurer, supporting Afghan women, also involved in anti-octopus farming, anti-fox hunting, and no badger culls, and no farmers, no food campaigns. She says institutional misogyny endures. Along with climate change, women globally as a sex class are disproportionately disadvantaged, as witnessed in the clampdown on women and girls in Afghanistan, where women and girls are literally being vanished and silenced. Part of our environmental remit is to create links globally and locally to empower women and bring focus to them in all our policy making. Good governance means responsiveness, participation, transparency, consensus orientated, accountability, effectiveness and efficiency, equality, to follow the rule of law. In the future, to arrange more webinars, symposia, e.g. Hebo Wadere on FGM, Nomsibo Halifax, sorry, I didn't know.
Hand up.
Period poverty in education, women and law, to support the placement of women's officers party-wide. It's been an honour to serve and be part of the Green Party Women Committee. Despite many challenges, we're still here, and it will be a privilege to serve again, this time as your co-chair too. Thank you. So there we go. That is for Jessica. So now I'm going to ask the candidate for treasurer, which is Anne Baker, to speak. Over to you, Anne.
Okay. Well, I've been involved in the Green Party for a few years now, and got involved in this committee again as the treasurer. So I would like that opportunity to carry on with that role and also to support other people involved in this group through all the difficulties that we've had. I've always enjoyed the cut and thrust of politics, but sometimes free speech gets limited in different situations, which is something I'm not happy with. But mainly I want to be the treasurer because I've had that experience previously through different political groups and community groups, and it's something I enjoy doing, and I find it fits in with my other commitments quite well. So I just hope to continue to be part of the team and to support everyone and take the aims forward, as Jude's already said and Jessica have said what they want to focus on. So I'm just happy to be part of that team.
Thank you, Anne. Brilliant.
I don't have anything else to add.
It's fine. You're allowed to go under time.
Yeah.
It's absolutely fine. Not a problem with us.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm now going to ask Sue Williams to speak, who's applied to be secretary of the committee. Hi, over to you, Sue.
Evening, and thanks everyone for turning up tonight. So secretary is a role to which I've been elected previously, and I know that I can carry out the responsibilities of being a secretary effectively. But it's also important to think about the wider purpose of Green Party Women. I believe the group's got an important social role in bringing women together. I'm one of the former hosts of their monthly book club, and as the current host, Loppy, isn't standing for re-election, then I'd like to take that role on again. But an even more important role of Green Party Women is to ensure that women's voices are heard within the party. And I think I can play my part in this. For example, since I've been co-opted back onto the committee, I've begun attending meetings of the Equality and Diversity Committee to make sure women's voices are heard. Recently, I liaised with Tim, the convener of the Crime and Justice Policy Working Group, who'd offered to speak to our members. And what we saw when Tim came to our recent meeting shows just how important Green Party Women is. The draft voting paper produced by the Policy Working Group had a whole section about youth justice. And that's important. It should have been there. But there was no corresponding section about women and girls, even though we make up half of the population, even though there's an epidemic of male violence against girls and women.
15 seconds.
Committee members and observers at the meeting raised a host of issues relevant to the experiences of women and girls, which were completely absent from the paper. If elected, I'll work with the rest of the committee to put women at the heart of policy making in the Green Party. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sue. I'm going to now ask Zoe Richards, who's applied to be membership secretary, to speak. Take it away, Zoe.
Thank you. A bit of background. I've been an environmentalist for over 30 years. I've worked in habitat management and conservation training. I volunteer doing species surveys, measuring the impact of rewilding on biodiversity. I joined the Green Party about 5 years ago because I had increasing concerns about climate change and the destruction of nature. And considering that these have a greater impact on women, I was a bit surprised to find that there wasn't any women's section in the party's rights and responsibilities. So I joined Green Party Women and then discovered that we weren't really being heard in the party, even being suspended and expelled for actually speaking up about our rights. So I was founding signatory of the Green Women's Declaration. I'm also involved in feminist activism with the Women's Rights Network and campaign on our sex-based rights. My huge admiration for previous committees means that I want to continue their fantastic work and the fantastic work that we did as a committee last year when I was in a non-portfolio role. And now with even more members than ever in the party, I'm going to stand as membership secretary. It's really important to provide a welcoming place for women in the party that they might not actually find elsewhere.
15 seconds.
I want to focus on getting more women involved in the party and in environmental issues through our meetings and our clubs, and encourage members to contribute their own ideas for accessible events and campaigns. Thank you.
Time's up.
Perfectly timed, Zoe. 1 second to go. Very impressive. Okay. Now we've got 4 people who've applied for non-portfolio positions on the committee. What I'm going to do is we've got Claire Long Shepherd, and she's one of the people that can't make it. So I'm just going to go and read out her piece here. So she says, I'm
Sorry,
Claire.
can I just say her name's Claire Long Summers?
Oh, is it Long Summers?
Hold on, her name's Claire Long Summers, not
Sorry,
Long
everybody.
Shepherd. Long Summers.
I've had a very disturbed night's sleep, and I'm a bit all over the place. Apologies, particularly to Claire. So she says, I'm Claire, and I'm standing for election to a non-portfolio role in Green Party Women. I joined the Green Party just before the 2015 general election to campaign for my prospective parliamentary candidate, and I stood as a candidate for election to Lancaster City Council. For many years, I volunteered for a credit union, and together with my involvement in the Occupy movement, this led me to understand how the economy works for the benefit of the rich and powerful at the expense of the planet. I have a background in science and a degree in chemistry, and I believe the Green Party should be the party of science and focus on how we save our planet rather than on unproven ideologies. So that is her piece. So what I'm going to do now is ask Serena, who's one of the other people who's applied for non-portfolio, Serena Ferrari, to have her 1.5 minutes. Where's she gone? Oh, there you are. You're at the top. Hello, off you go.
Hello. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay. So, my name is Serena, and I'm applying because women's rights are at a turning point. After progress that took decades, we are seeing a backlash with misogyny being normalized, unsafe spaces, and growing authoritarian politics. And I don't think we can take this as a background noise. It needs organized, patient work inside and outside our party. I became a British citizen in 2020 and joined the Green Party because I wanted to contribute. I've worked locally in Leeds on digital communication, including redesigning our website and supporting our deputy leader campaigning online. I'm not saying this because I have all the answers, but because I know how much good work depends on clear messages and good teamwork. My roots are in Italy and Egypt, and my family spans several countries. That taught me to listen carefully, build bridges, and fight any form of discrimination. I've been active in feminist campaigning since my teens, including for abortion rights and femicide law recently passed in Italy. If elected, I will focus on three things: making women's
15
voices
seconds.
harder to ignore in party decision, supporting safer political spaces, and strengthening how we communicate priorities to members and the public. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Serena. Our next candidate for non-portfolio position is Idalia Kulik. Oh, there she is. Over to you, Idalia.
Hi, thank you. I just wanted to say very quickly that I'm feeling slightly under the weather, so probably would not do my best, but I'll try. So my name is Adalia Kulik. I wanted to say very briefly why I'm standing. I'm standing because I care about essentially strong, principled, organized spaces for women within the Green Party. I believe that Green Party women exist to support women's participation, amplify our voices, and ensure that we're confident, visible, and influential within GPU structures. I believe that we require not only good intentions, but clear organization, transparent process, and constructive dialogue. So a bit about who I am and what I've done. I come from a very multicultural background. I'm essentially a triple citizen. I am both, I am British, European, and Russian. In terms of background, I've already had some relevant executive position experience. Until November 2025, I've been a portfolio member, executive portfolio member in the Norwich Green Party. And I am also an organizer and founder of Off the Record, which is a structured discussion platform that brings people together for serious, respectful debate. At this point, I have quite a bit of experience in organizing small and big scale community events, both within the party and outside of it. So, for instance, I've organized.
15 seconds.
Sure. So, yeah, I'm happy to contribute in however I can and use all of my skills to make Green Party Women a better, stronger organization.
Well, you did very well considering you're feeling completely under the weather.
Thank you.
Very good. Now I should have been looking to
Okay,
see.
Charmin isn't
Is she
in the
here?
meeting yet.
She's not here yet.
No,
Okay.
she's not.
I will go and find Charmin's application and I will read that out. Give me a second. Here we go. So I am Charmin Sultana, standing as a non-portfolio candidate, as working for women is a commitment. My journey from Bangladesh to England, supporting women's empowerment and education. Here I saw the same inequalities. My background is a BSc in botany and a master's in food biotechnology, including NHS work experience. I've seen the impact of environmental degradation on women. Through the Angelou Centre volunteer work, I've supported women facing violence, exclusion, and health challenges who struggle in silence. I want to create safe spaces where women are supported and connected to resources. With education, lived experience, and determination, I'll stand beside women, amplify their voices, and contribute to Green Party women. Let's build a world where women thrive. Hear to that. Right. So we've been through the opening statements of everybody who's applied for a position, and I'm going to open up the floor to any questions. You can either raise your hand and to do that, if you go down to the bottom of your screen, if you're on a screen as opposed to a phone, and in the React, the heart, you'll find a raise hand button. Or I will have a quick flick through and see if I can see anybody waving. But obviously, you'll need to turn your screen on if you want to talk, because if you wave with a blank screen, even when I'm on all firing on all cylinders, I'm not going to know that you're there. Oh, Loppy's got a hand
I
raised.
just asked, are you going to, are you going to explain that both of us unfortunately have to leave?
I've already done that, yes. I have explained that. So, and Liz has kindly agreed to chair, and I'm assuming, hopefully, would Loppy be able to do timings? I mean, of a minute? No, she's feeling a bit under the weather as well.
Well, I can do the timings.
Can you? That's brilliant.
No problem.
It's fine. You can do it all at once. It gets a little bit hectic, but that'll be fine. So, Loppy, you have your hand up. Please, can you ask your question? And I assume this is to the whole
Yes.
committee? Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
What do you see as the most important issue for women in the Green Party?
Okay, I'm going to ask that question. I'm going to kind of start with Zoe Richards. And that's a minute for you to answer that question.
Sorry, I was having trouble unmuting.
That's okay.
So I think from what I've seen so far, I think it's an issue with partly the sort of the disciplinary system isn't working. We've actually raised this issue in our meetings, and we've had a meeting with Harriet Lamb, the CEO, and that is kind of ongoing. But I think there's issues with that, and also the code of conduct is not being applied to everybody equally. I think women who are having complaints put in against them are
15 seconds.
Because they've breached the code of conduct. They haven't actually done that, and women who put in complaints about other people are their complaints are dismissed and seen as vexatious. So the whole system of disciplinary process needs to be reviewed and changed and updated.
Thank you very much. I'm going to ask the same question for Anne, please.
Yes, I feel what's most important is the ability to actually have a voice, to speak, to be able to have a civilized debate without fearing repercussions. And we have definitely gone backwards in that respect of being able to just have genuinely free political debates without being shouted down and sent through the disciplinary process. I've been obviously thinking a lot about my mother recently, and I go back to when she was younger, when
15
she wasn't
seconds.
classed as an adult, and she was forced to give up her first daughter for adoption. And that control of women just doesn't seem to get any different. And that's something that means a lot to me at the moment.
Thank you, Anne. I'm going to ask the same question of Charmin, please. Oh, sorry, she's not here. That's it, at least I picked it up. Idalia, please.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, wonderful. Thank you. So actually, I wanted to essentially join what Zoe said in her statement because I think this is the strongest thing that I'm feeling at the moment. And I would like to offer practical help as this is something I think I've already touched on in the past. I have personally seen and witnessed, I know different branches of Green Party are very different. Some of them are actually quite nice and lovely still. I think from what I know, and I seem to know quite a bit about the system at this point, the party that I belong to, which is the Norwich Green Party, is one of the worst ones in terms of abuse, and it's been going on for years. So I am currently one of the people, to my knowledge, probably either the only person or one of the very few leading a group complaint on behalf of several people from the party. I have personally got a lot of evidence on the wrongdoings that have happened to me personally and other people. And I would like to create a systemic approach where perhaps we all sit down, gather everything that's been going on, and deliver it in a structured manner because unless this is addressed properly systematically, this is going to keep going on. They're not interested in looking at this. And that's probably what I wanted to say.
Thank you very much, and I'm very sorry you've experienced that.
To go, I have to go now. Apologies, everyone.
Okay, I've got 3 minutes. Right, I'm going to ask the same question of Jude, please.
Yes, there's a really big problem inside the party to do with bullying, harassment, and safeguarding, things that I've complained to various CEOs over the years about. So we really need to find a way to address that extremely problematic thing inside the party. And many of you know that some of us have been fighting this for years. So that's a key issue. The second one for me is policy. For over 10 years, women have been effectively barred from making any real policy inside the party. It's by expelling people, by silencing them. So we have a huge policy deficit around women's issues. It's a massive, massive problem. And it's linked into the problems that other people have talked about with bullying, harassment, and victimization. So we need to have a really good look at governance, and the new CEO and the heads of governance and the leaders need to fully understand that if you want to be a functioning party in the 21st century, you need to address the rights of women. You need to address all the policy issues that women need to
15
have
seconds remaining.
And what happens in the real world needs to be thought about very, very seriously. Policy and the culture of the party.
Lovely, thank you very much. So I'm going to ask the same question of Sue and then Serena, and then I think everybody's covered, and then I'm going to get off, I'm afraid. So over to you, Sue.
Thanks, Kate. I'm going to echo the same things because I've been in Green Party Women for a few years, a little spell when I was kicked out of the party, but of course I'm back in now, and during that time it's the same problems that everybody finds, the bullying, the silencing of women. And then, as like Jude says, with policy, we're ignored or we're an afterthought. Like when we had the discussion about the crime and justice working paper, no section about women. And we raised so many issues at that meeting that the people on the policy working group didn't seem to have thought of. The last conference, there was a wonderful motion to try and get a women's section in, I think, is it the Rights and Responsibilities chapter? Because we're completely absent. That got ruled out of order for sort of technical reasons. So there's nothing about women.
15
and then I think
seconds.
we've got some policies that are actually harmful to women as well, like the attitude to sex work, seeing it as just work instead of prostituted women being abused. So there's a huge amount to be done.
Lovely, thank you. Last but by no means least, I'm going to ask for a minute from Serena, please.
Well, I think I cannot add anything to what has been said. I mean, everything is, I completely agree with everybody. From my point of view, from my perspective, perhaps we can reach out to more women in the party that have been experiencing the same. And because if we do not uncover the fact that this is a pattern, and if don't reach out to support women that at the moment they are feeling isolated, maybe we don't succeed. So the more we let's say set up a
15 seconds.
communication line to get on board more women and have a clear communication, the more we have a chance to succeed in changing the party.
Thank you. Perfect timing again. Bang on the money. So I'm just going to apologise again for people who might have joined the meeting a little bit late. I'm afraid, as Ero and also the Dero, I've got a Green Party meeting I've got to go to. I've been given an extra meeting that I wasn't expecting. So we're leaving, but we're going to be leaving you in the capable hands of Elizabeth, who will ask if there's any more questions. And just to let everybody know that I'll be sending out the link for voting later on this evening. Okay, cheerio, everybody. Thanks very much.
Great. And thank you very much, Kate. Thank you very much, Kate, for chairing so far, and go well with your next meeting. And also to Sarah, who also has to go. So I see Jill has her hand up. So great. Jill, would you like to ask your question?
Yeah, hi everyone. I've just really loved listening to all of those candidate statements. It's really uplifting. My question is to the candidates is, do you think there would be a benefit of having a women's officer in all of the local parties?
Great. Okay, thank you for that. Jude, do you want to answer that first? No, Jude had her hand up, but no, it's gone. Right.
No,
so
I'm going to say yes, I will. Jill, well, it's an interesting one, isn't it? As the party grows, you would hope that you would think about having all sorts of different positions. And I think it would be great if there was a women's officer in each local party. One of the issues with this, though, I think, is that local parties aren't very well resourced. There's been this idea that all local parties should have EDI officers, which might be a useful thing as well. But without resource, it's meaningless. So, people may not realise, but the Women's Committee doesn't get any resource from the party, absolutely zero. And in fact, although we get some digital support, you could argue that over the years we've been hampered rather than helped. So, along with the aspiration to have women's officers or even a national women's officer, it would be really great if there was some resource put into all of this. Yeah.
15 seconds.
It's interesting, isn't it? Where the money goes inside the party. It goes on campaigning, it goes on elections. It doesn't go on governance. And it doesn't seem to go on things like supporting women's officers. So great idea, but we need resource. Deeds, not words, to quote the suffragettes.
Thank you, Jude. That's great. Okay, so I see Idalia has her hand up next to answer. Idalia, do come in, please. A minute, and I'll give you a 15-second warning.
No worries. Thank you. To be honest, I think everything that Jude said in terms of resources is very valid. So I would definitely support that. Another thing, I'm not entirely sure if by women's officer we mean simply somebody who's a woman or somebody who is from the Green Party women, because in my understanding, this might be two different things. I have personally seen from my own experience that there are lots of women, say in my local Green Party, who I wouldn't say behaving in a fair manner. So simply by the fact that somebody is a woman doesn't necessarily sort of make them very suitable to uphold certain statutes. But that is my experience. So my suggestion would probably be perhaps having a representative from the Green Party women instead within local branches, but I don't know how doable that is.
Thank you very much. Wendy, I imagine, has another question. Does anyone else want to give an answer to does anyone else want to give an answer to Jill's question? Anne, you have a minute and I'll give you 15 seconds.
Well, a lot of what needs to be said has been said, but it's capacity as well sometimes. I mean, in my local, part of a big branch, but the actual council area that I'm in, we went last year from 9 members and now we've got 62. So we've had a lot of new people come in, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to have a lot of new people who are willing to actually get involved or even fully understand how everything works. So it, as well as the money to support, it's the timing as well. So there's a lot that needs to be sorted before we have any other posts created.
Okay, thanks very much, Anne. So Wendy, I'll just say again that I'll take all the hands up from the prospective committee members before I take your question, and your question will have as much time dedicated to it. So Zoe, in answer to Jill's question, you have 1 minute, and I'll tell you when you've got 15 seconds left. Thanks.
I do think it would be a good idea. When we were at conference on the stall, Green Party Women's stall, we had a couple of women approach us, and I hadn't really thought about whether local groups had women's officers, but one of them who came to talk to us was a women's officer for her local group. And that seemed to be quite a success. It was working really well. In my local party, I've actually been approached to ask if I would be the women's officer. They haven't definitely decided to have one yet. They're looking at having like a disability officer and an LGBTIQA plus officer and various other positions. And because they knew I was on Green Party Women, they asked if I would do it. So I've said I will, but I've not heard any more. But the other option is also for us to support local women's groups, which we've been doing with a group in, correct me if I'm wrong, anyone else, but I think Warwickshire. Somebody there has set up a local women's group, and we've been supporting them with that.
Okay, thanks, Zoe. Sorry to interrupt you. Maybe Sue will carry on with your narrative. Sue next, in answer to Jill's question.
Yeah, actually, the current committee had a little discussion on Slack a few weeks ago about the idea of women's officers, because we'd had an email from the London Young Greens saying that they were going to have somebody reach out to get in touch with us to make sure our interests were represented. And on that Slack discussion, we sort of said we just don't have the capacity to go to every local group that would like us to represent women. It's just not practical. We represent women in the national EDI committee, and we did sort of ask in our email, in our reply to them, do you have a women's officer in your own group? Because we thought that would be more valuable. I think if groups are large enough and active enough and have got active members to have a women's officer, it is ideal. But like Adalia said, just because someone's a woman, it doesn't mean they'll necessarily represent women's interests. So I do think it needs to be an elected position, and hustings ideally, and maybe we could support women and maybe create job descriptions to give local parties ideas of what a women's officer would do.
Time's up. Thank you very much. I feel terrible interrupting, but that is the job. Sorry, everyone. So any other hands up from prospective committee members to Jill's question? No, I think everyone's had their say. So Wendy, over to you with your question. Wendy Fay Cooper, come in. Thank you.
Okay, I don't usually use the Fay. I don't know why it's come up, but it's the first time I've been on something like this, and I've got to say it sounds terribly negative, and everyone's fighting something. And so I want to ask the question: what can you do to encourage someone like you to feel optimistic about being part of the women's group?
Great question. Thanks, Wendy. I'm waiting for anyone from the committee to want to answer that. Jude.
Hi, Wendy. No, great. It's a great question. Yes, it's hard to listen to some of the things we've been saying because the culture inside the party is difficult. But on the other hand, I'm going to say it is a really fantastic committee to serve on. I'm also in the Women's Declaration, which is a kind of sister of this committee. And we do have an incredibly great working environment. We learn a lot of new skills. We're up against it a lot of the time, but in fact, it's a very steep learning curve. So I'd say it can be quite joyous. We are really enjoying each other's company. We get on. There are obviously sometimes disagreements, which means that we have to work things through. But it's always been really, really fantastic. A couple of years ago, we had a retreat kind of thing where we went away, and for some women, it was the first time they'd been in a women-only environment. So it is a great thing to do, and being inside the party can be great. We would like to make it a much more welcoming and great place for everybody all the time. So thanks for your question, Wendy.
Thanks, Jude. Great. Okay, Sue.
Yeah, I think we sounded negative earlier because the question was about what are the challenges, what are the problems. So we were focusing on the things that need to be better. But I think being part of Green Party Women and being on the committee is really, really positive. I love the social things that we do, the clubs like the book club and the Green Witches. We've been on marches, the Restore Nature Now march, the Clean Water march, which is lovely to be part of a larger thing. I quite often am involved in writing the newsletters, and I like knowing that they're read by hundreds of women, and it's kind of brings us together, even though it's remote. We hold webinars and meet all sorts of interesting people, and it's a chance to share ideas. We've had people from Stop Surrogacy Now, Nordic Model, all sorts of different things, and I think it's great being with other women and working together on things that are important to us. And actually, I enjoy our meetings. We always, our committee meetings, we normally have open mic at the end, and everybody speaks really openly, really freely, and it's lovely to have that time.
Great, thanks, Sue. Anne, and then Idalia. Off you go, Anne.
Right. Well, I'd just like to say that despite any issues and concerns that may have been raised, in the main, I found it being a very supportive group. The fact of having the book club and the Witches group, which I hosted for a while, enabled me, in particular, being in a more remote area, to get to know a lot of people in the party, and as we've grown and got to know each other, we've been able to support more other people who've come forward with their problems. So it's not all negative. It may sound it sometimes, but there is a good supportive atmosphere amongst us that's been building up, because we've gone through ups and downs together, and I feel that there's a lot of positive things that have happened, and we should shout more about that, all of that.
Absolutely. Great. Thanks, Anne. Idalia.
Sorry, it took a bit longer there. Thank you. Sorry, that is actually a very good question. So, one thing that I would say is, I think by the nature of being a political party, the job of a political party is solve problems and support people. So technically, a lot of it is going to be a point of contention, because whenever there is a problem, then you have to solve it. So from that outlook, anything is probably going to be a bit negative. But at the same time, I think the positive for me, at the very least, lies within the negative, as strange as it might sound. So I was actually incredibly happy to have found this community, because what it gives me is it gives me acceptance and the ability to be myself and speak my mind and problem solve rather than simply be punished, which is something that a lot of other places do. So that for me is a massive positive.
Great. Thank you very much, Idalia. Okay. Idalia, pop your hand down, please. And any other questions? Are there any physical hands up in the room? I don't see any more hands up. That being the case, then I suppose this hustings draws to a close.
Closing statements.
Oh, thank you. I'm so
And I think
glad.
you've got a statement from Jess, haven't you?
Yeah,
I do have.
Liz, you'll get to talk again.
Well, that's wonderful. Okay, so let's go through closing statements, and I'll close the meeting with Jess's closing statement. That would be in honor of her absence. Poor Jess is not very well tonight. So let's begin then, Jude, with, is it 1.5 minutes or 1 minute for the closing statement?
I think it's only 30 seconds, isn't it?
Oh,
Yeah, 30 seconds.
Blimey, that's short and sweet, isn't it? Right. So let me just put that in. Okay, away you go, Jude.
So I'd like to be the co-chair because I know my way around this party. I think I'm a good leader. I enjoy working with other people and I really want to make a difference. And I'm not going to take no for an answer. So vote for me. And I really like working with Jess. So that's another thing. Jess and I are going to be a good pair of co-chairs. And we're really going to, turbocharge Green Party women and make sure that by the time we get to conference, we are able to say what we think out and loud and proud. So that's it, really.
Great. You got it. You got it in 28 seconds, Jude. Bang on the money. Okay. So we'll finish with Jess's absence statement. So next, Sue, can we hear from you? Your closing statement.
Okay, well, I think you've heard a lot from me already, so I'm going to keep this short. I believe that women are oppressed and discriminated against on the basis of our sex, and we need to work together to overcome the obstacles which society puts in front of us. I think there's a great team of candidates standing. I hope we all get elected because I would love to work with all of you. Thank you.
Fabulous. Thank you, Sue. That's great. Anne, your closing statement, please.
Well, I hope you all vote for me as the treasurer. I feel I've done a good job in that role, and also I would like another opportunity to work with this brilliant team of women, supporting other women and fighting for freedom of speech and a fairer society. And I don't think I can add anything more to everything that's already been said. So that's me.
Perfect. Bang on time. Thank you very much, Anne. Zoe, as membership secretary, your 30 seconds is starting now.
So thank you everyone for coming tonight and listening to us. It's nice to be listened to. If your vision of a democratic Green Party is one where women's voices aren't silenced, where robust debate and different views are respected, and our rights are written into the policies, then please vote for, not just for me, for all of us, because we make a great team. I've only been on the committee for a year. I'd love to do it for another year. And also just please get involved in Green Party Women yourselves. It's your special interest group and we need you to help us take it forward.
Great. Thank you very much, Zoe. That's lovely. Idalia, your closing statement.
No worries. Thank you very much. To be honest, just wanted to join what all the other candidates have been saying. I feel very much aligned with what Green Party women are doing. I would love to help contribute however I can, and essentially help achieve common goals. And I know I've got the skills, other than the hard skills. I'm very passionate, resilient, and very much like Jude, I don't take no for an answer.
That's great. Lovely. And last but never least, Serena.
Well, I'm more than a speaker, I'm a doer. I mean, I like to get things done. And if elected, I will continue to do what I'm already doing, making women's voice not ignored by the party, and doing my best in doing this in communication fields, website, anything that you need in order to reach out to members and the public.
Fabulous. Thank you very much, Serena. So I do have a closing statement here, which I will read out from Jess. So Jess wanted this to be said at the end of the meeting. It has been both uplifting and an honor to serve on the Green Party Women Committee. We've worked exceptionally hard as a team, and I'm immensely proud of what we've accomplished together. We are inextricably bound to our planet. Women and girls are an integral life force in our ecology and our future. I look forward to further service. Lovely message there from Jess. So as I understand it, Kate will be sending out the voting link to everybody, everybody who's eligible to vote, which I think is everybody in the party. So that will be going out.
Not.
So everybody in Green Party Women.
Oh, okay. Everybody in Green Party Women. Sorry. Yes, that's a very good point. Yes, and so maybe I'm allowed a closing sentence as the outgoing other chair, which would be in answer to why join Green Party Women, because it's a incredibly important committee, a thriving committee. And I think it's a particularly important moment for this committee because this is a very important moment for the Green Party. The Green Party is now growing exponentially, and hundreds more women are going to be coming into our party. And they're going to be looking to the Women's Committee, and it'll be wonderful to hear their views and share, their vision too for how Green Party women can support the women in the party. So I think it's an exciting time for the committee, and I'm only sorry that I'm unable to continue because of other work and life commitments. So on that note, huge thanks to all the candidates and the very best of luck. We want to see you well and truly elected. Slippers on, feet under the carpet, ASAP. And with that, we'll close the meeting. And thank you very, very much, everybody, for coming.